Imagine you're home alone for the weekend. Your family is away. Everything is peaceful. Then suddenly the door knocks. Two young women are standing outside in the rain, asking for help. You let them in, just for a few minutes. But what starts as a simple act of kindness quickly turns into the worst mistake of your life. Surprisingly, this poor man's quiet evening turned out to be a completely unexpected, twisted psychological nightmare when two mysterious girls refused to leave. These two couples are named Evan and Karen, and they are living a happy life in California with their two children and a little dog. She makes sculptures and is getting ready for her biggest exhibit, while he designs buildings. While the family is having breakfast, Karen's helper, Louis, comes in with some booklets for her show. They all laugh together, and Evan checks with his kids to see if they have everything packed for their weekend trip to the beach with their mom. Karen points out the important parts to Louis and tells him that it's still wet. He promises to come back and get it when it's dry so he can take it to the gallery. As Karen and the children are getting ready to leave, she informs Evan that his therapist, Vivian, will arrive the next day. The kids ask him to join them on the weekend, but he has to stay and work. On a dark and rainy night, Evan is working on his computer while listening to music on his nice record player. He gets a call from Karen, who says they miss him. After that, Evan works late into the night, making 3D printed models of his designs. After a while, he hears someone knock on the front door, so he opens it. Two girls were looking for someone whose name they didn't know. He didn't want to, but he let them use his computer to find the right address they needed. The girls walk in, and Evan uses his iPad to get them some towels. When he comes back, he sees them in a different part of the house. The girl with blonde hair says her name is Belle, and the other girl's name is Genesis. Genesis asks for the address and tells the cab driver the street name incorrectly. Because of that, they are now very far from where they were meant to go. Evan orders an Uber, and it arrives in 45 minutes. The girls talk for a moment and then ask Evan if they can put their clothes in the dryer so they won't go to the party wet. Evan agrees and brings them some extra robes. Then, he asks for Genesis's phone to put it in rice to dry it out. He makes tea for them when they come into the kitchen and give him their clothes. Evan puts the clothes in the dryer when he hears the girls playing music on his old record player and laughing. He walks in while they are dancing, and they begin to chat about his huge collection of records. Evan says he was a DJ when he was in his 20s. The girls are surprised by how old he is and ask him his age. When he tells them, they say he looks younger. Evan says he got married when he was young. His wife and kids went on a weekend trip that they were supposed to take together, but he had to stay home to work. The girls feel bad for him being at home alone, so they hug him when Genesis starts flirting with him, saying he's in great shape for his age. Evan feels a little uneasy, but when Belle sees a picture of his wife and says he's lucky to have her, he feels a bit better. Evan excitedly talks about Karen and her great artwork, which surprises Belle. She discovers that all the art in the house belongs to Karen. Genesis mentions that she took a class on art history for a semester and wonders why Karen's sculptures are not at MoMA. This leads Evan to share Karen's catalog for the upcoming art show she will be having in Los Angeles. The girls think Evan and his wife are a great couple and ask him about their relationship, which makes him a bit nervous. He says he's not used to girls talking openly about having sex, so the girls laugh and say he sounds old. He moves to another seat and looks at the Uber apps. Genesis asks how long he has been married to Karen, and he replies that it's been a long time. She asks if his wife is the only woman he has been close to for all these years. He replies that is what happens when you truly love someone. The girls don't agree with him and talk a lot about being in a relationship with just one person and how people behave. This makes Evan think for a moment. Belle tells him that she knows that after they get married, her husband might want to be with other girls. Her idea to solve this is to have threesomes so she wouldn't cheat on him. Evan starts to feel more anxious and switches the topic by asking what jobs they have. Genesis tells him that their flight attendants are pretending to be flight attendants with him. Evan avoids them again, moves to a different seat, and asks where they are located. They start talking about their jobs and traveling, and Belle says that traveling is the best way to learn about life. The girls begin chatting about their coworkers and try to change the topic to love and relationships. Evan anxiously checks the Uber again when Genesis says she needs to use the bathroom. He stands up to change the record and puts on one that Belle picks from his collection. Evan talks to her about the artist, and she pays close attention and starts to dance. This makes Evan want to DJ for her. He finds a different record to mix with the one he's playing and impresses Belle with what he can do. Belle tells him that she's happy they came to his house because they are having much more fun there than at the party they were supposed to attend. He says that his house isn't usually as fun as when they are together. Belle believes it was meant to be that they met, and she asks him to dance with her. She playfully teases him and tries to kiss him, but then the Uber shows up out of nowhere. Belle goes to get Genesis and he checks their clothes on the phone. When the girls don't come to the door, Evan goes to find them in the bathroom. He hears them laughing inside and goes in to give them their clothes, but when he gets there, he sees they are not wearing anything. They say it's a surprise for him, and at first, Evan acts shy and insists that their Uber is waiting, asking them to get dressed. Genesis starts to kiss him and he pushes her away, but when they both start to touch him, he soon gives in. The Uber drives away because no one picks up the phone. Evan wakes up alone in bed the next day and quickly replies to his wife's message. Then he puts his wedding ring back on. He puts on his clothes and looks around the house, but just when he thinks the girls have left, he hears them laughing and being noisy in the kitchen. When he comes in, he sees Genesis making pancakes and giving him some. Evan gets mad at what they are doing and asks if he can drive them home or anywhere else they want to go. The girls laugh at him, which makes him even madder. He understands that he has a little problem to deal with. Suddenly, his wife calls, and he rushes outside to answer. Evan tells her he smoked too much weed and fainted, so Karen calls him weak. She starts talking to him about the kids when the two girls show up behind the glass door. He shifts so she can't see him on the video call and talks about his work project, saying he's making great progress and will finish it soon. The girls keep bothering him through the glass doors, and Karen sees he's not focused, so they hang up the call. Knowing that it will be tough to get the girls to leave, he goes into the house shouting and swearing at them. Evan tells the girls to wake up and get ready, so they hurry to another room. When he goes to check on them, he finds only Genesis and starts looking for Belle. He sees her in his closet, wearing his shirt. She asks him to hold her and jumps into his arms, telling him that she loves him. Evan takes her back to Genesis and tells them to get ready in 3 minutes while he waits outside. After he finishes a cigarette, he goes back inside to check on them and sees both of them painting on Karen's sculpture. Evan gets really angry and throws Genesis off the sculpture. Then he takes the pen from Belle and asks them if they know what they've done. They say they got an idea from last night, so he thinks about calling the police. But Genesis warns him that it's not a good idea because they are all too young. Belle says she's 15, but Evan doubts it. Genesis tells him that a jury will have to decide. She calls it illegal sex with a minor. Belle says she has proof if he chooses to call. He is confused by the flight attendant's story they told him yesterday, and Genesis says they saw it in a movie. Evan is unsure about what to do, so he asks them how much money they want. They say he is not like the other people and that he shouldn't get angry. Evan pulls out his wallet and asks how much they cost, which makes them upset because he is treating them like they are selling themselves. Belle slaps him and tells him that she is not a prostitute. When the doorbell rings, Evan tells them to stay put and goes to open the door. He sees Vivian, his therapist, standing outside. Vivian starts talking right away and tells him that he's feeling much better and doesn't need therapy anymore. She keeps talking until Genesis comes out and says he doesn't want her massage. Evan asks her to go back inside, and Vivian becomes very upset because she loves his wife. He tells her that she is wrong about what she thinks, but she keeps walking and insists that she's right. Evan goes back inside the house and sees the girls playing with his turntable. He pushes Belle away from the table and then tries to push both of them out of the house, but the girls just keep teasing him. As Genesis keeps provoking him, Evan gets angrier and grabs her by the throat. Belle gets scared and picks up a statue to hit him on the head if she has to protect her friend, who keeps making fun of Evan. He lets her leave and calls the police to report a robbery. Before he can say anything more, Genesis hangs up and asks him for a ride. They all leave the house and he drives them to a different area. When Belle gets out of the car, She asks Evan if he wants to come in and meet her mom. The girls don't go into the house. They walk in the other direction. Evan comes home and starts cleaning right away. He tidies up the kitchen and the bathroom. Then he attempts to clean his wife's sculpture. That night, he takes a pill, believing everything is fine and he has escaped trouble. Evan returns to his work project when he hears glass breaking in another part of the house. He looks into the noise but doesn't find anything at first. When he walks into the living room, he sees a broken family photo on the floor. As he bends down to pick it up, Genesis hits him on the head with one of his wife's sculptures. Evan wakes up tied to the bed while Genesis is putting on makeup and singing softly. He asks her to set him free and let him leave, saying he's a good person who made a mistake, but she keeps doing what she's doing. Then, Belle comes in wearing her daughter's clothes, including her underwear. Evan gets really upset and tells her to remove them, calling her a crazy person. Belle takes off her underwear and throws it at his face while dancing around him. She says that every girl's first love is her dad. Evan tells her that she's wrong, but Belle keeps playing around. He asks her to free him, but she just sits on him, showing that she has some serious problems from her past with her father. At the same time, Genesis says it wasn't just a dream. Belle starts to hit Evan, mixing him up with her dad, as if he was the one who hurt her when she was a kid. His phone rings unexpectedly, and they both reach for it. When they see that Karen is calling Evan on FaceTime, they get ready to answer it while unzipping his pants, saying they might pick up the call. He asks them not to do that and promises Belle he will do anything she wants. Belle wants to be intimate with him, so she jumps on him while Genesis records it on his phone and then leaves the room. Evan frees himself and pushes Belle down, then stands up and goes after Genesis. When he sees her eating a cake, he grabs her by the neck, but she sticks her fork into his shoulder. She twists the fork in the wound, keeping Evan on the ground. When Belle arrives, she tells him they need to punish him for hurting her. Evan passes out from the pain, giving the girls a chance to tie him up again. They pretend to play a game with him like a game show. Genesis is the host, and Belle is a contestant. Evan says they are crazy liars, so Genesis begins playing loud sounds on his turntable, which really hurts Evan's ears. He shouts that he might go deaf, so she quiets down. Genesis keeps playing the game show, and when he doesn't want to join in, she hurts him again. Evan answers the second question, and the girls like what he says. He tells Genesis that she made her point, so she plays the noise again. When he gives in, she asks him another question. Evan isn't sure how to respond and almost gets in trouble, but then the doorbell rings just in time to save him. The women quickly put a cloth in his mouth. Louis comes to get the sculpture, and the girls hide Evan so he doesn't see him. Then Belle rolls him into another room. Genesis opens the door and says that Evan is her uncle and they are making a music video in the house. When Louis comes in to get the sculpture, he sees that something is wrong with it, and the girls say they didn't do it. He takes a look and finds out that they have damaged the artwork. The girls start to tell him a story about how someone sneaked in and that Evan was running after them. Louis doesn't trust them and wants to call the police when Genesis flirts with him. Sadly, her attempts to win him over don't affect him, and he sees her true intentions clearly. Louis goes up to the girls when Evan starts being loud, and he quickly runs over to him. He finds Evan and starts to help him get free, but first, he goes to deal with the girls when he hears them breaking the sculpture. Louis runs over and shouts at them, but then he has an asthma attack because he's so panicked. But he can't find his inhaler because someone took it from his pocket and started throwing it around, making jokes with the man. Evan asks the girls to give him his inhaler, but Louis falls and hits his head on the bottom of the sculpture. The girls start laughing and ignore Evan's requests to call for an ambulance and help Louis. Evan says that he has been killed, but Genesis says it was his wife's bad sculpture that did it. They push Evan back into the house and later cover Louis' body with paper to make a sculpture. In the meantime, Evan is trying to reach his gun. Genesis sends a scary message from Evan's phone to Louis, and they put the body in Louis's van. The girls return and keep playing the game show with Evan. He doesn't really answer the question but keeps insisting that he's a good dad and that what happened with the girls doesn't change how much he loves his family. Genesis says his family was hurt by his bad actions and Bell spits on a picture of his family, saying it represents how he treated them when he was unfaithful with both of them. Evan understands that they are going to kill him, so he begs for his life. He claims the girls are to blame for everything because they teased him. Genesis tells him that he will be executed at dawn and that if she were in his position, she wouldn't spend her last hours crying about it. Belle says she's sorry and that this is the only option. Later, the girls dig a hole for him in his backyard and go back inside. He has just managed to use his tablet to call Karen. Genesis takes the tablet away from him, and then they go to change into some different clothes from his closet. After that, they ruin most of Karen's sculptures and his design models. The girls give him a bowl cut and keep teasing him while they ruin his house and all of Karen's art. Then, they discover a gun, and Belle frees him. Evan asks Genesis what she wants again. She says she wants to play hide and seek, and then she gives him 30 seconds to hide in the house. She says if they don't find him by morning, they'll go away. Evan goes into the kitchen while the girls count down from 30, and he grabs a knife. They search for him all over the house, and when he thinks they are far away, Evan runs outside. Genesis tells him he can scream all he wants, but no one will hear him because nobody is around. In the morning, the girls take Evan to the grave and bury him. Before they start to bury him, they lift him up so his head stays above the ground. They bury him in the ground up to his neck, and he keeps begging to be saved. Evan says he will be good, so Genesis removes the gag from his mouth. He tries to negotiate for his life, and Genesis tells him they will free him if he calls his family and tells them everything. Evan says he will do it, but when Genesis calls his wife's phone and hears her voicemail, he starts yelling for help. Genesis puts the gag back on him and tells him that she hung up as soon as she got the voicemail. She picks up the statue and acts like she will drop it on his head, but instead, she puts it down next to him. He starts crying, and they laugh, saying they weren't really going to hurt him. Belle tells him it was just a game, and they mention that all the other men they've done this to reacted the same way. Before they go, they admit that they are not really teenagers and they do something else to Evan. Belle shares a video of her and Evan on Facebook. Then they leave the phone in front of him and go out of the house. Evan wants to erase the video before too many people see it, but he accidentally presses like instead of delete. When his family returns home the next day, they find the house in total mess left by the girls, and the movie ends. Thank you.